Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Kentucky Route Zero, where the save game selection screen has become a little bit ominous. I guess we just have to accept it. The end is nigh. I don't exactly know what to expect here, but I really do hope we're going to get to see Carrington's play. Okay, that's everything, right? I mean, how did this all fit in that truck? It might be bigger on the inside. We know so little about the truck. Who's to say it isn't a TARDIS? Yeah, it's bigger on the inside. This is interesting. I guess this is a matter of, like, we're trying to set our mood going forward, right? Because it looks like it probably did rain, and it looks like the sun probably is shining. So what do we focus on? You know, we're going to do our best to be positive today. How about that? You know, the sun is shining. And the birds are singing. This is so... Man, I feel like you could spend a lot of time talking about... We could spend a lot longer here than I'm going to, talking about how interesting it is that this is what is happening over here in the corner. Did anybody else see that? I mean, y'all can just rewind, I guess. There was like a semi-translucent person walking into the trees. I think they were semi-translucent. It might have just been like a weird effect of the light. Okay, I'm getting distracted. The point is, I think there's something really interesting going on here about the fact that you always have the choice of jumping back over to Shannon saying the more depressively focused thing. Okay, let's just push forward for now. And the flowers are opening. Dew glistens on the grass. We're going to do everything in our power to just stay positive, forward-looking at the moment. And it's interesting that all came together as one line of dialogue in the log here. May I use your phone, Miss Shannon? I gotta call my bird. Aw, who are you calling? I was gonna call Julian, obviously. Obviously we miss Julian. Who's Julian? My brother. Yeah, okay. Now it's time to focus. So, where is 5 Dogwood Drive? Right. No idea. Maybe we should split up? Nope. I've watched enough horror movies. No, these are both split up. Okay, we're going to split up by the way. Well, if the child goes off by himself, there's no way that could go wrong. Okay. Holler if you find anything. I'm going to guess that means that we are Ezra, or we're... Nope, we're a dragonfly. Okay, I'm a little concerned about getting caught by the cat. Maybe we're the cat and this dragonfly is like the horseshoes, as the horseshoes were for Conway. I'm gonna let the cat catch up. Let's see what happens. Okay, the cat does not immediately murder the dragonfly, which was my concern. What am I looking at here? Oh, it's like a macaw. I guess I don't know the names of parrots. It's like that kind of parrot that's very pretty. Jorge scanned the shelf. He quickly found the book he was looking for. There were only a few dozen left. More shelves than books now. The result of an experiment called the new selection. Privately, he called it the Purge. These words are clickable. Maybe. A Crystal Age. Anonymous. A fairly recent publication. Jorge flipped through the pages for a minute. The binding was stiff. I'm still not 100% sure, there's a mirror, or... I can't quite make out what is supposed to be happening here. Obviously, there's a bird sitting on a thing and looking at... No, that's a different bird. That's a second bird, because it's not moving. Its head is not moving in concert. It's close, though. Yeah, no, it's definitely not. Okay. This is an interesting way to do the same kind of dialogue choices that we've been doing so far. But, it allowing you to focus in on different elements of the thing happening. Let's focus on Jorge's experience. He hadn't read the book, but he had discussed it with Isabel, the community architect. It was the story of a man who sleeps for thousands of years and awakens into a world without hunger or strife. Isabel had requested the book, part of a collection she was building called Ecological Mysticism, and now it was to be the latest victim of Fraser's reckless experiment. Fraser proposed and executed experiments just like any other community member, but his experiments had a scorched earth quality. They were all destructive. He moved from one area of community life to the next, in search of excess to cut back. I sort of wish the line "they were all destructive" didn't exist here, because I think the line before it really sells that just as well and in a slightly more poetic fashion. Lately, he'd turned his sight to the library. The new selection meant decimating their store of books, according to Fraser's own inscrutable criteria. Now we are guaranteed something vital every time we take a book from the shelves. No more time lost to printed chaff. Fraser's colorless voice echoed in Jorge's mind. He felt like spitting. I definitely did not do a colorless voice there. I went big. That was I was going for Disney villain. Instead, he tucked the book under his arm and set off for the woods. Comes our cat. Flee the cat. Wait, hold on now. What was that? Was that because I was near the... Is this going to be the cat licking itself? It sort of looks like... Oh, we found the meow button. Oh, that's meow at person. Oh, hi, kitty. Where did you come from, huh? You follow a bird up here? Close. She's a precog. We gotta look out. Oh, wait. Oh, these folks, the ones who built this thing, they chased birds too. I guess so. So I don't have any control over the speed of her dialogue, it looks like. If I click, I can just run away from her while she's still talking. Intrigued meow. Please, tell me more about the bird chasing. You know how I feel about that. Really? That's what they wrote. They followed some migrating birds up here from Central America. I think I understand this a little bit more. Somewhere up to Florida. And then here. See, I'm having a little bit of trouble, this is a wall, and this shape is a cutout, so we are seeing into the building. When we were zoomed in close enough to be reading that other text, I was interpreting some of this as just, background, seeing through... Okay, that's why I was having trouble seeing what it is. That's another cat. We should probably have a chat with that other cat, but we're not done talking to this lady just yet. Skeptical meow. I don't believe your story. What are you, crazy? Well, that's what they wrote, anyway. I guess it might have been a metaphor. Cats don't understand metaphors. Well, cats can barely understand the literal world. Get way deep in here. Can the cat actually get inside the wildlife sanctuary? Yeah, I guess the cat already was when we were reading that text earlier, right? Because those stairs, that's where those stairs go. That. Hold on. You. I think you're the spooky shape I saw earlier. You're a Bigfoot. Or a ghost? Or a ghost Bigfoot. No, definitely semi-translucent. Is this a memory of a person? Maybe? Well, no. How would the cat be perceiving... What am I talking about? It's definitely strange, though. Well, you know, sometimes you can feel the ghosts in a place even when you didn't know them before. Oh, they're actually quite common. Also, our friend disappeared. Well, guess let's have a cat chat. A lizard darts out from beneath a rock. How dare it? That's an interesting way of drawing that sound. No sign of the lizard now. I thought we were talking to the other cat here, but we may be meowing at this rock. Yeah, so this used to be a bird sanctuary, maybe. I mean, it's still functioning as a bird sanctuary, so I guess it still is one. I definitely cannot meow at the other cat any further than I already have. It's really interesting. It occurred to me. I realized that I don't exactly know the dates of the interludes and when they appeared. My impression is that they weren't just when more new acts were published, like that they actually did come in between. So I wonder if the fact that the last interlude and this section that we've played here feels so different from the rest of the game gameplay-wise, which is, you know, pretty similar from moment to moment, although I guess I did at one point spend an hour dialing a phone. But I wonder if the reason for that is just like the amount of time that passed in the developers' real lives between things getting published, and then they came back and they were like, you know what, I don't want to do more of the thing we're already doing. I don't know. I'm going to do an awful lot of research about this game as soon as we finish it and I can no longer be spoiled on it. Hello, humans. Apparently Nikki's gearing herself up to give a speech to Ezra. Let's just interrupt. Hey, what kind of fish are those? Should I say they were free? No. I should probably actually answer the question. They're goldfish. They eat algae and mosquito eggs. Very helpful. I'm surprised they survived the storm, actually. It was pretty bad, as you could see. Devastating, I should say. So apparently... Okay, I kind of assumed that this area was dilapidated and just sort of slowly falling apart over time, but maybe this is all recent destruction. Well, we're just dropping something off here. Oh, well, you better hurry up. They might already be gone. They, being the people who are supposed to be receiving the thing, and not my friends, I hope. As soon as you walked away from them, I saw them all leave. I wonder what it says about me that I saw all of this and assumed that it was just like, well, this is what this place has slowly come to, instead of this being the result of a catastrophic storm. Get inside the barn. You can in fact even get up onto the second floor of this barn. Maybe. Although it doesn't look like there's anything worth meowing at up here. Did I lose the cat? There he is. So, not too sad. No, I think it should be happy. Wait, did Nikki actually... Right. It's a remembrance. Right. Like a monument. Yeah, totally. Like a monument. So, they should be represented with dignity and respect, of course. Yeah, of course. But not to the point where it makes everyone feel they have to be serious when they're standing under it. You know, one of those happy, fun monuments. Does that make sense? No, yeah, it definitely does. I think I have an idea. I'll just dig in. Don't let me interrupt. Thanks, Marianne. Yeah, happy to help. This cat's got a pretty solid turning radius. I wonder if this is some sort of like almost cataclysmic storm, borderline cataclysmic storm. It was a cataclysm for some parts of the area, a couple of these buildings. I wonder if that's what it would have been if they had finished it when it originally started getting written, instead of finishing it in presumably most of 2019, when catastrophic storms are becoming so much more common. It's kind of like interesting, the idea of the way a story that is written over a long time morphs over that period with its context. The seer reclined high in a tree, carving fine details into a small wooden pipe. So, yeah, I mean, that certainly gives some additional context. The catastrophic storm certainly gives some additional context to these ideas of people that are wandering around. Let's talk about this tree. She loved this spot. The height, the distance. She was always at a distance, watching everyone work. From this height, she could see the earth movers shaping the mounds under the draftsman's supervision. She could see him inspecting his plan, the drawing he'd made from her game. The map. The drawing he'd made from her game. Still a little short on information here. If cats are always seeing ghost dragonflies that are compelling them to do things, I think that explains a lot about the behavior that I have witnessed in cats. Doesn't excuse it, you understand, but certainly explains some of it. Okay, apparently the wall there is no problem for this cat. Oh, hey, look who it is. Think it'll rain anymore? Nah. I can't remember which one of them was which voice before. And I don't see any clouds. Well, it'll probably rain anyhow. Just our luck. Yeah, it seems like this place definitely has a certain kind of luck. Excuse me. I would like to intervene in your conversation. Oh, really? A very confident meow. I've never heard more confident. He thinks it's going to rain again tomorrow. Nah. I don't know, man. Animals have a sense for the weather. Yeah, but the cat can't... Okay, never mind. So what do you think Ben, Bob, and Emily represent if we saw them as... I was kind of thinking that the Ben, Bob, and Emily stuff had to have been in the past to some degree, because I guess I was perceiving them as ghosts in the basement of Equus Oils. I wonder if we're going to get an answer on that. It might not be one of those things that's meant to make strict timeline type sense. A croak reverberates inside the smoker. Is that excited? A frog slips out into the grass, too quick to see. Well, good for him. I don't want to have to try to dragonfly this cat off of every living thing that it witnesses. Can we get up into this house at all? Doesn't look like it. Also, there sure are, it might be a limitation of the particular graphical style they've chosen, but it sure does seem like there's an awful lot of the same white cat around here. Maybe they're meant to actually be different white cats, but also maybe there's something else entirely. Check it out. It's Frodo's house. Paints and chalk in the small bag, diary in the large bag, stuffed dog in the small bag, photograph of Chris in the large bag. No, in the small bag? Sandra couldn't decide. Should she keep the photo of her husband, or should Alex keep the photo of his father? Oh, well, this is gonna be sad. Let's go to the diary. I don't want to have to make this choice. She wrapped the diary in a towel before stuffing it into her bag, feeling slightly silly doing it. Fraser had been on a tear collecting all written material as community property lately. Oh, really? That's a little bit more sinister than just culling the collection at the library. She was sure he couldn't possibly have meant even a personal diary, but, well, was she sure? She set everything down, closed her eyes, massaged her temples, and wondered, not for the first time, how Fraser had consolidated so much invisible power so quickly. How had he done it? Had he in fact done anything at all to claim this incredible lattice of influence? Or had they simply, blindly, given it to him? Yeah, there are elements of this that are feeling a little bit 2020. I mean, the style of architecture here is really neat. I don't have a lot of value to say, a lot of analysis beyond. It is neat. But like it is, I'm not wrong. Oh, will it still fly? I wonder if this is the plane we saw those people pushing on the road all the way back in the first act. Oh yes, she just got a little banged up in the storm. All those words are in there. That's not the right order. I'll have her up and running again by this afternoon, I'm sure. Can I fly it? No, absolutely not. That's a terrible idea. Well, how's your upper body strength? It's good. It's really good. This old girl is operated by pulleys. 100% mechanical. Well, except for the throttle. You know, I could do that. I admire your confidence, young man. Definitely not letting you touch my thing here. Yep, just a little bent metal. I'll have her skyworthy again in a matter of hours. For a certain definition of the word skyworthy. Wow. I've been doing this a long time, kiddo. Then we rooted around in the garbage. At first, they only observed the truck from a distance. It was an alien carcass, something that made more sense in death than in life. The company had dropped it off in the middle of the day when everyone was at the plant. They let it sit overnight, alone and strange. Something that made more sense in death than in life. I really like the writing in this game. I don't know if I've made that clear. Nikki thought it was ridiculous, but Ron approved. To Elmo, the truck was simply beautiful. I want to know more about what Elmo thought of it. I thought Elmo was an interesting character. He thought it was elegant. He liked the idea of passing it every day, observing it from different angles and distances. What did he think was elegant about it? Well, he liked boxy things, generally, and especially boxy machines. I'm right there with him on that. Everyone had to agree this was money and attention that would have been better spent addressing the town's drainage problems. Maybe finally get started on that damned messianic ditch. That's a weird adjective for that noun. Still, they had a few things to dispose of. Broken flower pots, empty glass bottles, clothes that didn't fit anyone. They gradually fell into the habit of collecting waste and carrying it to the truck. Once a month, some shadows would come in from the night woods and haul the garbage away on a cart. Okay, so there are literally shadows. These people are not metaphorically present. They might be literally present. Except for the fact that they keep evaporating? Yeah. Maybe because they don't want to be around a cat? I kind of assumed it was like we processed the memory of them. Okay. It's probably too early for me to be trying to figure out what the metaphor represents, because I don't even know what the whole text is yet. I'm gonna meow desperately under this chaise lounge. I wonder how deep the hole is, because I bet it was a huge pain to carry stuff up these stairs. Also, if it's more than about 10 or 15 feet, I don't know that I could have done it. Not because I'm that out of shape, but because I would have been terrified to be on that staircase. Although it is worth that I am definitely too out of shape for that as well. I really like the visual representations of the cat noises. Is that stuff still echoing back to us? Man. What an unpleasant experience that must have been. I'm so glad we got to skip it. Junebug and Johnny strained to hear the noises coming from the well. Oh no, those noises coming out are not supposed to be the echoes of our meows, I don't think. It's like two people talking, but not to each other. Maybe they're on the phone. Johnny shades his eyes with his hand. Oh no, sorry, that's an option. I could have Johnny shade his eyes with his hand. You think the truck's okay down there? Sure, I doubt any thief could get it started. I think we're beyond worrying about the truck at this point. Well, I guess I'm saying that, but Shannon's probably worried about the truck. It's her truck now. If the truck's, like, dead forever, that's like the loss of a free truck. Hold on, we're not going to talk to you people yet. I'm a little concerned that talking to, like, the main group might end the scenario here. End the scene. What is this guy? Oh, he's winching the... I see. The cat would probably have more than a passing interest in such a thing. Not this cat, though. Too distracted by ghost dragonflies. What is going on over here? Really, come in on the middle of a story. Oh, they must have been pretty nice pigs if they let you ride them like that. Oh, they were perfect gentlemen. Still very creepy. The way the shadows are moving around has to be intentionally evocative of that Bigfoot walk, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm just seeing what I want to see, because I always want to see a cryptid. Actually, there have been very few cryptids in this game, for what it is. I think cryptids are sort of a part of Americana in the same way that the road is. In fact, the road is like a natural environment for a cryptid, although I guess Julian is kind of a... well, whatever. Then what happened? Then I found the library of television. There were TVs everywhere as soon as you walked in the door. Every channel was playing at once. Let's see here. Does she know about the tiny hairs in her ear canal? I'm going to say no. I had one eyeball pointed at a cooking show and the other at a crime show. For a while, I was completely hypnotized, but then a fly buzzed in my ear and it woke me up. Okay, she's describing a dream. That makes more sense. Sounds scary, but also kind of cool. Exactly. I'll take you there sometime if you want. In the place that you dreamed of? Maybe I should have heard the beginning of the story. I was traveling with some strange companions for a while too, but not as strange as yours. Was she with a strange woman who might have been a witch? That's definitely a more interesting story than the rabbit. There was a strange woman who I think was a witch. She gave me a magical amulet for protection, but I lost it, which is just irresponsible. By far my most memorable companions were the Martians. Drunk Martians? Or friendly but demanding Martians? Well, these are all very earthly behaviors. I had to lose them in a hedge maze. I had to lose them in a hedge maze. There we go. They were friendly, but very demanding. Oh, I hung out with an old dog and some musicians. That's every bit as good of a story. Don't let her shame you. Wow, I'm jealous, but I won't let it ruin our friendship. We might be making a choice here that's like kind of momentous for young Ezra, right? You know what? We should stick together. It seems like they both like to have a good adventure. I agree completely. She can come with us. We've assembled a motley crew. She can join it. Motley crews don't have a size limit. It's such a Bigfoot walk. It is so much the thing that it is. This is interesting. Am I going to be able to... No, okay. I was wondering if there might be something hidden behind what was once a bird sanctuary, or perhaps just a zoo. Alright, I guess let's go see what's going on with our main characters, as far as there are main characters in this particular story. Just taking one last look. So, you said you were sketching? Researching? Yeah, I just came down to see this ancient earthwork. It's beautiful, right? This big mound. You know, most of these ancient earthworks are thought to be burial mounds, but this one definitely isn't. To be honest, I don't know what it was for. I imagine Maya as a person who's, like, very excitable. If you were to ask her about the things that she's interested in, she would never ever stop talking. I like people like that. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought that might be a tad more momentous than it was. Maybe we haven't yet meowed at all the white cats. Wow, that's a lot less meow than I was expecting from how much line there was in that symbol. A slithering sound from somewhere in the grass. There we go. That's a little bit more like what I was expecting. Silence. Well, smart move on whatever was slithering. So this is all the stuff that was in the truck, huh? I mean, I guess I thought maybe after all of this it might be a little more mystical. I suppose we don't know that this isn't a mystical fainting couch. But it's just, you know, antiques. Guess that makes sense. Ooh, hold on, this looks significant. Oh, the church. Probably. Kinda looks like a church. It sort of looks like part of a church. Somebody got 40% of the way through building a church. This cat's perception of time is a little bit strange. 6 or 7 men stood in the sun about a dozen yards from the ditch, and he could hear them laughing. He tried not to hear them. Instead, he listened to the shovel punching through the dirt as he shaped the trench. It was wet dirt. Mud, really. It made a hungry sound as he shaped the trench walls. Do I want to know what they're laughing about, or do I want to know... I think I kind of want to know about this trench. I already know how mud works. Glare from the noon sun made his sinuses tingle. The trench was a foot wide now. By the time he was done, he expected it to be about twice that, and run most of the way from the middle of town over to where it could drain off into the creek. No offense, guy. I'm not super interested in your sinuses. The laughter quieted into greedy chuckles, and he could feel the men approaching. The feeling I'm getting from this story is that these guys are assholes. And that the dude digging the trench is very familiar with their particular brand of that thing. Oh, hey. Oh, this is what's left of the station. Wow. That's really not very much. I mean, I guess it was never a big or impressive building, but... this thing was slightly warm, apparently. Elmo gave Rita a tour of the cameras and wiring. She'd just been through a certificate program on public broadcasting at the community college, so no surprises there. Nikki showed her the video databank. James demonstrated the Sandin image processor. And then Ron came barreling in with an urgent expression. I bet he does that a lot. I'm really interested in the image processor. The image processor was a beautiful machine. James had inherited its care from another artist, reverse engineering it for maintenance with the help of a dusty, photocopied tome labeled The Distribution Religion. Rita learned just enough to make throbbing, hypnotic rainbows appear on the screen, which seemed to be the machine's favorite trick. She wondered what they used it for in practice. I'm curious about that too, but I'm also curious about the phrase favorite trick being highlighted. It wasn't quite the radical guerrilla television crew she dreamed of joining. This group seemed more interested in sharing the town's home movies than culture jamming and interfering with corporate stations, but she liked that focus on local concerns. Ron's news was clearly bad news. Rita's heart sank a little as they listened. She knew things were unraveling, and knew from experience what that looked like. Wouldn't it be nice to arrive at the beginning of something for once? But as she listened to Ron detail the power company's sudden withdrawal from town affairs, she heard other possibilities. She studied their faces and found concern, for sure, but also something like relief, hope, an awakening of play. Nikki looked like she might have been daydreaming. These were people, Rita decided, ready to step out of the company's shadow and build something of their own. Ron said the TV station would still be funded by court order. Could that be their anchor? So yeah, these are totally the memories of them standing around talking about this in the station. So the shadows... I mean, maybe there are literal shadow people who come out of the woods at night. I don't... Again, I suppose we ought to finish the text first. Wait, let's meow at Mo. Hi, Mo. You look friendly. Yeah, see, he's friendly. I assume that if Mo wanted to, he could meow back. Corvids are very good mimics. Alright, this conversation's getting a little bit heated. I wonder if there was an idea of what was actually, like, transpiring there. I wonder if they had a conversation that they actually wrote to represent there in the sounds. It does not feel, to me at this point, like this is a game where they would just go, whatever, make them make some noises. Give an alert meow, I sense something. A family of small mice huddle beneath the debris. You guys better stay under that debris. Mice retreat into shadows. Good for them. Right, we're going to go check out what's happening over there in a moment. We have not actually been all that thorough. There's a lot of space here. Way more than we are usually in, I feel like. Although I suppose the fact that we're so much faster than we usually are probably has something to do with that. Or the other way around. I'm trying to steer the cat up these steps. It's not 100% true. Nope, apparently I cannot interact with those steps. Either they don't exist or I don't exist. Really no way to know. I mean, all the other cats that we've seen in town are white, and they might just represent, like, memories of a thing, but I can't help but notice that our cat is sort of the same colors as the shadow people, right? Something in the bushes stirs. Once again, smart on the part of whatever is in there. Alright, I think we might actually be ready to go here. Go where? I don't know, because that's just a couple of stairs leading down into a body of water. I mean, presumably there's a road under there somewhere. Did we check? Oh yeah, this is where the plane is. Okay. I think this game does a lot with, like, spatial conceptions of time that are really interesting. The way the characters seem to teleport around the space to indicate the passage of time that the cat is not, like, super up on because it's very easily distracted and also has a cat brain. Hey, do you hear music? Yes, always. Strange to say, but I feel like I've been here before. Anyone else? Oh, is this your place? It's a weird time for new construction, but what do I know? Wait, this house is new. Yes, sometime last night, I think. I've never noticed it before. That's very curious. Also, it sort of looks like, again, this might be just like a fidelity issue caused by the intentionally minimalist graphic style, but it sort of looks like it's all one piece, right? Like it was carved out of a big rock. It feels warmer in here somehow, right? Yeah, warmer and brighter. And nobody lives here? Well, I mean, somebody ordered some furniture. If this is Dogwood Drive, technically our job is just to put the furniture in here and then leave, right? It's actually quite spacious. Yeah, bigger than it looks. Weird for that concept to be recurring again so quickly. You know what this town needs is a kitchen. Oh yeah? Somewhere to cook all the... What beans? Did I miss a whole lot of beans? There's so much room, though. We could set up a whole studio. So they're all kind of, like, baffled by the opportunity that the space represents. And at night, we look at the stars. So do we play into it as Shannon, or does Shannon want to go back? I mean, what does Shannon have that's waiting for her, right? She was suddenly evicted from her shop. Weaver's in the television, so, you know, we got Weaver wherever we go. Especially here. You know, maybe this space does represent opportunity. I could set up a new workshop here. Maybe work on that, that big video synthesizer thing. Fix that up. You know, I'd love to perform in a place like this, at sunset. Huh. I'm not sure... So, like, I was talking a moment ago about not trying to interpret too much until we actually have the whole text to interpret, but because it's an interactive text, we necessarily don't get to do that, right? Like, I'm making decisions that have narrative weight to them, even if they don't change anything about the plot, without having any idea what we're building to or what we're really doing here. I don't really think about that much in most games. It's true everywhere, obviously, but it feels different here, weightier. Brighter, bigger on the inside, you know? I kind of feel like I'm on stage right now, actually. You know what I mean, man? Weird acoustics, like you get little echoes before the sounds themselves. I like it. This whole space is unstuck in time. You know, we need to make sure and preserve some of this stuff before the next big storm. So whoever lives here next will know who came before. And you think more people will come, like, after these people leave? People will come. There's something about this place. They all seem to think so. Saved what we could. It wasn't much. Okay, no, we're still... Sorry. We are currently saving what we could. Hey, cat, I'll race you from here to that pile of mail, okay? I'm very fast. You should be wary of this. This is a Meowth agreement, I assume. Affirmative. Ready. Come stand here. This is the starting line. I'm roughly equal with you. We can go. Ready? Get set. Trying not to cheat. Okay. Go, cat. Fast. Faster, cat. I'm running as fast as I can. This child is too fast. Aha. I kinda won, I think. It depends on exactly where the finish line was. Ow, you're pretty fast. I'll get you next time. That seems unlikely. You don't have enough legs, kid. Hold on, what is this playing out over here? So maybe these are the cat's memories. I guess we don't know how long the cat's been here. Maybe the shadows of people, because the cat doesn't really have, like, resolution on people the same way we do. Rita tore up weeds. Elmo stood next to her with a bucket. She passed him the uprooted weeds, and he stuffed them in the bucket. They worked this way for a few hours. Dark clouds drifted slowly closer, but wouldn't arrive until evening. What are they doing with these weeds? Rita and Elmo left to get some tea. The bucket of weeds sat warming in the sun. The dandelions wilted and the clover dried. Some wayward insects continued to eat. When Rita and Elmo returned, they assumed the same roles and continued working. Garden was coming along as well as they could hope, given months of neglect. When the plant shut down, the company abruptly pulled out of the area and took a large part of the town's population with it. This included the Carver family, who had tended this garden, the largest and most productive in town, for years. I feel like we already kind of got the story about the neglect in the next line here. I'm still going to click on it, though. Rita and Elmo worked until it started to rain. The rain washed their sweat into the dirt. I am kind of curious. I may well play this episode again and make different choices in the narrative there, because I'm curious how much different text there actually is. And if these people are sort of like the cat's memory of people and events, then their awkward gait kind of makes more sense to me. Of course people look weird to a cat. Oh, people kind of look weird to me. Look at this place. The library. Ah, what a mess. I feel like I should give you a tour, but let's skip to the good part. Any questions? Was it for people or animals? It was for people, then it was for animals. Well, people at first. A group of utopian social experimenters. They kept their books here, and I think it was kind of the heart of their community. I like that kind of history. There's such interesting decisions about who the characters are to make in these moments. These little things that tell you so much about them. I like that kind of history. The lived-in details. That's how you know people have always been people, always made choices, and nothing was inevitable. That other line about everything exploding was also interesting, though. You know, you'd fit right in here. Sure, it's a mess right now, but there's some residual energy from those fearless experimenters that I don't think will ever dissipate. Do we think Ezra could stay here? Well, he did say that he wanted to stick around with Flora. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I could stay here. He's looking for a place, right? I don't think the museum is a good environment for anyone, frankly. And what's good, little dude? We were talking about people. We were talking about people. We were talking about the people who built this. And then Rita says to Ezra, she wants to be introduced, right? Friends of yours? Yep, we travel together. I'm gonna try to keep the... Ooh, Ron dug a grave. I'm gonna try to keep the idea of going back out of Ezra's mouth. I don't think he should. I think he should go forward, not back. This book's in pretty good shape. The City of Ladies. That's a title. Interesting. I would also like to read the book, please. May I borrow that when you are done? No, I've never read it either. There's a lot of movement associated with some of these meows. Good question. Let's take a look. Here we go. Minerva, Circe, Sappho, and some ladies from the Bible. Really is a big book of ladies. I think they all get together and build a city. Yes, that would make sense. Sounds nice. I'll get us a bus ticket, eh? Don't take your cat on the bus. For the sake of the cat and also everyone else on the bus. What's that cat doing? 3A, lay paper flat. 3B, bring bottom left corner up to top right corner. 3C, crease with firm, steady pressure along diagonal fold. This is origami directions? Nikki applied only gentle pressure. Looser flowers felt more alive. She rolled her wrists. It was the 6th hour of her assigned company store shift, and she'd made dozens of flowers. Ron had bought a bouquet and cleaned out their stock that afternoon. Why does the company store have you making flowers? 11. Repeat steps 4A through 7 for each petal, taking care not to rip the filaments from step 9. She imagined the insects that would pollinate paper flowers, watercolor bees, or wasps that left ink stains when they stung. A commotion outside caught Nikki's attention. Men yelling, blows landing. She put down her work and stepped out just in time to see the crowd disperse. It's an interesting association from stun. Or from stung. Oh, hi, kitty. All meows are kind of chatty. Yes, it's a beautiful day. I guess the weather was pretty bad last night, though. You're a chatty one, aren't you? That was the last meow. She's not keeping up very well. Ooh, fanciful. Cat has dreams of being something greater. Sure, whatever you say. Alright, well, take it easy. Tone of the conversation was getting a little testy. Shannon was uncomfortable. So do we want to know about the company store or what came after? I'm kind of curious, actually, about, like, the lives of people when the company, like, pretty much owned the town. But before that, it was the company store. And what kind of stuff did they stock? Never enough of what you wanted. Eventually, we had to start a garden. But some things you just can't grow. Gee, I wonder what he might be talking about. No, Elmo's not greedy. He's a sharer. If you want, and you promise to keep it secret, I'll pass on my waffle recipe before I head out. Wait, we don't want to say this, right? We know he eats, because there was that thing about him slipping a gear one time while trying to eat something, right? Why so secretive? I just can't bear the thought of any son of a bitch from that power company eating one of my waffles. No. There's definitely a more mystical answer here. The mystery adds to the flavor. How many bad feelings do you think Elmo has about the place? I think any residual upset is not at the place, it's at the power company, right? Well, I know I'm not sticking around. You think you'll do anything with this place? We'll think of something. What are the acoustics like? Johnny has a one-track mind. And that track is, what do I have to do to make Junebug happy? The answer is, play music, probably. Oh, choppy seas today, Captain. Aye, Captain. They're co-captains. Let's reinforce the sails. I sort of want to see if we can disturb the boat. But also, that feels like kind of a spiteful, crummy thing to do. We're definitely going to try. Get it, cat. This boat is cat-proof. They developed a cat-proof boat. Should patent this. They could be rich. So see, it has mostly seemed like the white cats mark places where you can meow and get a little bit of descriptive text. Yeah, something reacting to your presence. It's interesting that this one isn't. Clyde lay down on his back on the runway, hands folded behind his head, halfway between dreams and the afternoon sun. He entertained the momentary delusion that he'd survived a plane crash, and was vaguely unhappy when the dream faded. The runway smelled like oil, years of leaky light aircraft taking off and landing. All the state said they wanted was to knock down some trees, many trees, and build a road tying this small town to the larger web of streets and highways that entombed the rest of the country. That's an interesting verb for that. I want to hear about Clyde's thoughts about the larger web. It would bring in new goods, new people, maybe even some cash from tourism. Many of the residents supported the idea. But Clyde and his inner circle of stunt pilots turned mail carriers knew that a road would be the end of their secluded paradise. Does feel like a selfish reason to oppose the building of one, right? Most people are going to be a lot better off with the road. All right, man, let's see what you've got. Is he auditioning new band members, maybe? Oh, no. Just trying to see what if there still works. Oh, this one looks like it might still play. Oh, Bill Monroe. Great. No, it's somebody's music. It's Elmo's music collection, I guess. Yeah, we had a few of his. Man, this is a barnstormer. Popular? They used to be, but then the jukebox started to wear down. And the longer it would run, the slower it would play. And then these weird echoes would start to come in. Like the music was leaking and just pooling up in the bottom somewhere until everything was drowning. After a few hours, no matter what you put in that jukebox, it'd come out strange, like wrong. I don't know, that sounds pretty cool to me, man. It's an interesting description. Echoes getting stuck down in a well until the sound comes up wrong. It's very reminiscent of the well in the middle of town. How are they doing on the stuff? Okay, they've gotten some of it moved. She watched him. I'm more interested in the watching than the being watched. She stood in her own shadow. A few deer hunters and talkers walked past, but this said nothing to the seer. Didn't even look. She studied the path. This was the path the seer had found in her scrying game, a series of private dice rolls and inscrutable diagrams. Man, I'm very interested in both the path and the game, actually. Let's talk about the path. What path is this? At the end of the route, she'd seen a safe, quiet place. Caverns of leathery black birds, a lake of eyeless fish, a towering flame. Now the diver walked the mounds, memorizing the route. He was almost ready. Well, I think I know what we're talking about here. Sort of. I mean, as much as I ever do in this game, I guess. Clyde and Cass sat cross-legged in the shade of a light aircraft, Cass shuffling cards and Clyde absently flipping through a stack of unopened letters. Let's talk about the letters. Demand for aerial stunts having faded almost completely, and many of their company having died or aged out of the profession, Clyde and Cass found for their remaining pilots a steady flow of contract work delivering mail to remote rural areas. But this place was abandoned. Cass's cards predicted they'd be here for quite a while. Although probably an examination of the aircraft would have been a better predictor. What are you doing over here, Nikki? Until finally it just gave way. Who's she talking to? But you did good work. It's not your fault. They didn't let you finish, that's all. Oh, if they let you finish, oh, forget about it. This place would be dry as a bone. You always did good work. It's a memorial. The flowers or yeah, probably the flowers and not the half of a building. What is this? Is this the memorial? No, it's probably the thing she's speaking directly to. This is a tree trunk obscured partially by its leaves. That's what this is. Well, the garden seems to be coming along nicely. I even lived in there for a bit. No way. Yeah, too drafty though. I moved out one winter and never looked back. It gets cold? Sure, when the sun's down. Nice old church, though. Really nice. Can make a nice workshop. There you go. You look at that. We're all thinking ahead here. Still can't actually climb those stairs. Something brown scurries up the side of the tree. Squirrel? Too fast to tell. It was probably a squirrel. Or a chipmunk or something. Oh, that's unsettling. I mean, the bodies too, but mostly I was talking about that, actually. Six feet? That's the standard. Standard for people, anyway, but... maybe I ought to stick to the traditional depth, out of respect. Yeah, do not try to shortchange the horses. Wait, is that respect? Or is it more respectful to treat them like what they were? I think the core of the problem here is that we don't really have rules for burying horses. I mean, just what are we burying here anyway? Is it them? Or us? Or some mix of both? I wonder what would have been the company policy on hiring centaurs. Strong and smart, but probably union. They built so much here. They ought to be here still, cleaning up. Yeah, if that was ever the way it worked, right? Well, not that I miss them. Everybody seems to have feelings about the power company. Very well-deserved feelings. Oh, wow. Are those birds or bats? Or what on earth is going on here? Well, I meowed at them as much as I could, and no response. Clearly, these are creatures of lower brain. Ah, damn. There he goes. Can we go in after him? Ah, man. I don't know. I wouldn't chase someone into a graveyard. In the bushes? Yeah. After the raccoon. Yeah. No. But it's probably full of thorns. Yeah, but raccoon. It's not happening. Okay, okay. Oh, don't pout. Tell you what, if that raccoon comes back into town, we'll leave some food out for him. Yes, ma'am. Hey. Hey, don't run in the graveyard. You know, I don't think of myself as a superstitious person, generally speaking. But it did, upset me a little bit when he ran in the graveyard. I was like, hey, that's not okay. People are trying to rest. Maybe it's a respect thing. Although, they're not really in there anymore, right? I'm annoyed with the idea that someone shouldn't run in a place. Yeah, agreed. Shannon has never understood my meows. I am, however, not going to run in the graveyard. There's someone... Oh, there's a shadow crouched down in that little cavern down there. Well, let's go have a look. Oh, wait, first this terrible thing. Where are you flying to? This seems like such a bad idea. I mean, I guess Clyde knows his business, but flying? Huh. I'm just checking to see if everything's working okay. You could fly her somewhere if you wanted to, though, right? Well, of course. I guess a friendship between these two is natural, right? They each have a big flying buddy. So, why don't you? Alright, here we go. Keep your distance now. I'm gonna step back a little bit. I'm much more obedient than the average cat. Well, hold on, I said that, but now I don't want to miss whatever might happen here. Not that I necessarily expect that the plane's going to explode or anything, but... Wait, Junebug, you sit there and like that knife for a second. Hold on, I'll be right back. My guess is that conversation's not going to progress without us there, sort of the way the lines in the play only played out when we were looking at them. Is that it? Did you do it? Now he's testing the wings. Okay, they give a happy little wave. You know, maybe this test is not going to conclude while we're looking at it. He's still doing stuff. Let's try to keep the cat entertained. Cats love cardio. This is very dangerous, this thing that I'm doing now. Okay. Test successful-ish? Maybe? Turns out he's gonna keep that information to himself. He's taking it to his grave. Fine. I really like this knife. Or who doesn't like a knife? It has an aura. You know what I mean? An aura. Yeah, like it wasn't exactly used to cut apples. It's meant for greater things. Yes, ma'am. Can I see the knife? We cannot see the knife. We have to take their word for it. Wanda. Are we familiar with Wanda? This might be the first time we met Wanda. I'm definitely more interested in the people than the soil. Part 4, subsection G. Notes on inhabitants. Most have relocated already, prior to the transitional event. And then to Shannon... Oh, she works for the Bureau. That makes sense. Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, right? I can spot you easy now. Would they have had their eyes on the site for... I guess so, right? As soon as the power company left, they took a significant portion of the place with them, right? I'm making a survey of the site for potential reclamation. I guess I don't really know what the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces actually does, do I? They would, like, turn it into a tourist spot? They'd put it in the brochure? That wasn't the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, though, right? That was another bureau. Alright, listen, don't set up shop just yet, huh? We might be reclaiming this space ourselves, it turns out. And how do you decide when a place is ready for reclamation? Who makes that call? I guess they have professionals for that. I'm curious about the beautiful creatures. Yeah, I'll miss them for sure. Beautiful creatures, and so thoughtful. Whoa, look at this. A piece of slate. So, like, we can't really rescue anything from a partial circuit diagram, right? Also, I can't even read the circuit diagram when it's whole. Emily pulls a videotape out of the rubble. This feels like something we could salvage. The label's all muddy. Oh, this is Rita's tape. I should get this to her. Maybe she can clean it up. Rita had strong feelings about that cave art. I guess we're going to unearth all of them, huh? Emily pulls a broken projector out of the rubble. Elmo's projector. Oh, it's ruined. Poor Elmo. He'll be devastated. Nah, he'll be cool with it. It takes a lot to perturb that guy. I think the ceremony is around dusk? What is the ceremony? Oh, for the horses. Yeah, we'll stick around. Nowhere to be. Seems like the decent thing to do. Right? Not so much for the horses, obviously, but for the people who lost the horses. Wow. Oh, Ezra's talking about the plane. That seems to be working okay. Julian's gonna love this, or be terrified of it, or try to eat it. Who? You know, his giant bird, said the cat. Yeah, it's amazing. It is sort of weird that he's, like, blown away by the plane, but considers Julian to be 100% a normal thing. What a weird little chapter of a weird little story. Although I guess at this point it's not really that little. What kind of bird is that? A big crane or something. Huh. I'm a little surprised that none of the birds were disturbed by that bell at all. Apparently it takes a lot to perturb those birds. I'm sure someone did their level best with the sign honoring the horses. But man, that's creepy. Hey y'all, thanks for sticking around for this. I know we've all got places to... Well, if anybody still needs somewhere to go, be sure and speak up, okay? I think Ron's heading through the woods tonight, back to the road if you want a caravan. You staying, Em? I think she really seemed like she wanted to go, didn't she? The parts of this place that are hers sort of all collapsed on her, it seems like. No, I'm heading out too. Also, look at Junebug and Johnny. I wonder if they actually have clothes or if they're outward appearances. Because, like, when they started singing in the bar, they sure did change shape quickly, but I assumed it was sort of like a metaphorical appearance. Because they changed back when the song ended, right? Anyway. So is she leaving because she's leaving this place, or is she leaving because she's going somewhere else? I like to think that she has, like, a goal. She's headed towards something, not away from here. We're going to help James move the image processor to a safe place on the river somewhere. For right now, though, we've got some friends to bury. The neighbors. Nikki has a poem, and I have a song. If anyone wants to say anything, though, I'll go first. The neighbors were kind, gentle, beautiful horses. I used to go on walks with the silver one, out in the woods by... why didn't anybody ever give them names? The silver one. Well, I guess he was gray, but his coat looked silver in the light, so I always called him that in my head. And the other one is the other one. And I loved these horses, but you'd never know it if you heard me talk about them like that. So I'm sorry, silver one and other one. Sorry I don't have better names for you. You deserved better names. Also, sorry I'm so bad at this. Does anybody else have anything to say? Who has feelings about this? I think... You know, this is kind of a beautiful idea. Rita, come in here and save her. We didn't give them names because their names weren't ours to give. The horses were here before us, you know? They came with people from Central America. You know, the Utopians. The people of nothing. The people of nothing arrived by horseback in October, and their first experiment was to free the horses. That was generations ago, of people and horses. I don't know when we started calling them the neighbors. We should have called them the people, I think. They were the only consistent residents of this place for over 100 years. And now they're all gone. Who are the people now? Oof, boy, that's America. You know, I was thinking about when all those canned carrots showed up in the mail. You all remember that? Somebody was calling around with some canned carrots they wanted to be rid of, and I guess Consolidated Power got word of it. So these cans of carrots showed up in the mail, and we didn't know where they came from at first. I tried some out. There's no flavor to them, and some of them were gray. Just awful. Rita said that's still okay to eat, like sometimes carrots just lose their color if they sit in a can too long. But Nobody wanted them, really. Well, Aunt Connie came on TV with a message like, "Hope the horses are enjoying their treat," and we thought, okay, these are for the neighbors. Sure, horses love carrots, right? But the neighbors wouldn't touch them. I wouldn't even look at them. You'd think they were canned rocks. We opened a couple dozen and set them out all by the water trough, and they were still there a day later. Even the raccoons steered clear. And then, of course, Consolidated sent us an invoice for every can we'd opened, already made out in company script. How do you like that? Okay, I guess we'd better move on. Nikki, you ready? I have no control aside from clicking on this. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, like Emily said. It's so good to have you all here for this. I don't think we draw attention to the fact that people had to leave already. Let's stay focused on what the thing is about. I think the neighbors would have liked this, all of us gathered here. They like to be around people. Maya, you and our other visitors might not know about the out-of-towner. He came here to work for the company, to dig a ditch. And the company worked him good and hard, and for less than he was worth, but it wasn't enough. They had to use him up completely. After that, we became ungovernable. First out of shame, then grief, then anger. I wanted to write this poem because the neighbors led me through that time. I used to sit with them out in the woods. There's a clearing out there. It's about 20 minutes walk, directly away from everything. I mean, there's no reason to walk that direction unless you're going to this clearing. The neighbors like to graze there. There's a certain grass they like the best. It only grows in partial shade, deep in the woods. I'd go out to that clearing and just watch them, in my shame, grief, and anger. And they knew, any of you who spent some time with these horses will remember, they knew just what I was feeling. I could tell. It radiated off of them like sweat evaporating. Features of pure compassion. And forgiveness. That kind of forgiveness Frost meant when he wrote something we somehow haven't to deserve. When I go, I want to be buried out there in that clearing and feed that grass they loved. Look for me under your boot soles, as the fella says. Nikki clears her throat and begins reading from the paper she's holding. Oh boy, I have to do a poetry. Okay, Okay, it's all sad. It's all pretty sad. I'm trying to give this whole deal a kind of a hopeful cast. This is not really cooperating. We all leave town and call that town a ghost. What ghosts gave this town breath and made it home? And now that breath has gone, we buried it here. What's left is not a ghost. It's just the bones. I think it sounds to me like Nikki's accessing something that's like pretty deep in there. She has a lot of feelings about these horses and also about the larger thing that this ceremony is representing. So yeah, I bet her hands do tremble a bit as she reads from the paper. Our neighbors were the best of us, of course. It's always, please don't. Okay, she didn't rhyme it down to horse. Our neighbors were the best of us, of course. It's always so. Our better selves, clear of ourselves, where we can see their glory glow. They glow now underground, our friends, with love. I guess this is hopeful-ish. I almost feel like impressing my will upon this is kind of betraying Nikki, though, in a weird, that's a weird thing to say about a character in a story, and especially a character in a video game story, I guess, but, which of these answers is the most true to what I think is happening with her? To greener pastures, we might say, but lie. So let me try instead to share your woe. I think the other lines kind of go back on the intent of that first one. Instead, try to share your woe here, where we lay our town and friends to rest. Is it too cute to make it rhyme? They all sort of rhyme, but this one really rhymes. They are town and friends to rest. Return their souls in peace and gently roam. No. Like, okay, so it's a funeral for the place, but it's not really a funeral. Some other cherished fools will build their home. It's a funeral for our version of the place, what the place was to us. We go away, but the place remains. Then we buried the horses.
I've heard of a land of joy and peace and wonderful life. A beautiful place of mansions fair and skies so bright, where all who believe the Savior dear forever shall stay. And having been saved by grace divine, I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray, just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way. Well, glorious news I tell and sing as onward I go, for those who are still astray in sin, my Savior may know. I want them to sing that praise above some beautiful day. For glory to Him who died for me, I'm going that way. I know I shall meet Him at the gate when trials are past. I know I shall meet Him face to face in glory at last. Oh, I believe that when we meet, well done, He'll say, while trusting my soul redeem in love. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. I'm going that way. Yes, dear, the Savior I adore is with me each day. I'm clinging to Him and never to stray, just singing praises all day long. I'm going that way.
I sort of wish, and maybe it's better that it's ambiguous, but I sort of wish the art style made it easier to tell if the mouths of the people who are actually here were moving. You know, like, it might be the case because of the way the voices rose as the sort of the shadows of the town's past were drawing in. I'm kind of curious whether the intent there was the idea that those are the voices that are rising with her, or if it was the other, the other people who are actually physically present that joined in the song. Seems like maybe the cat does not have a ton to do here. Still can't get him to go upstairs. Cats hate stairs, obviously. I'm like a little bit choked up. I'm super emotional lately. Like, I don't know, the last several years or so. As I advance, it gets easier and easier to make me cry, apparently. Well, I don't have any idea what we're looking for now. I guess let's just go see what everybody's up to after they have dispersed from the ceremony. I'm a little surprised that that wasn't like the ending, right? Like that was an ending as hell. I guess we still haven't exactly worked out the staying and leaving of it all. Maybe that's a thing that still needs doing. Oh, I've lost control. Well, okay, I guess that was the ending. We just needed one final image to go out on. In a certain sense, I feel like... in a certain sense, I wonder whether... the first thought I had, the first reaction I had as soon as I lost control was, oh no, what if I missed something? What if I didn't look thoroughly enough and find all the thing? But, like, one has to... It almost feels disrespectful to be thinking about it in that way, you know? To be like, oh, what if I didn't video game it hard enough? That was really something. I had heard a couple of things. I'm trying not to read stuff about the game until we actually finish it, right? But I had stumbled across, unavoidably, a couple of things where people were like, oh yeah, I don't know if I really liked Act 5. It just kind of like ended all of a sudden. I don't know what those people were talking about. That was an ending as hell. Yeah, wow, what a thing. Okay, we're just gonna... This got super long, because I didn't even realize how long we were playing there. I haven't looked at the clock the whole time. That's gonna be it for us for today. Apparently, there is another thing. We are not yet finished. So, that is it for us for today. Thank you all for attending our little ceremony. Come back next time, tomorrow, for the death of the hired man, which is a thing we've at least heard of. And we'll see you then.